On May 29th, 2019, I was able to take my first trip to Kennywood for this season, and one of my priorities of this trip was to capture some video of the recent footers that were placed in the lagoon. But after walking around the park, I discovered some more surprises for the upcoming 2019 project. When I first took a look at the footers in the lagoon, I was convinced that the roller coaster was simply going to go over that small portion of the water and loop around back, probably in an Emmeline or a dive loop, and head towards the old log jammer location. But while I was walking around the park, I realized to my own excitement that there are other markers placed in the ground, letting us know where the future footers will be laid. From what I can gather, this is going to be a larger project than I previously thought. The coaster will be interacting with multiple rides and attractions. So using Google Maps, I was able to create a basic layout of where I believe this new coaster will be making its way throughout the park. The purple line is a projected layout that I'm guessing. The red dots are actual locations of the footers that have been placed in the lagoon. And the yellow dots are where I located markers around the park. Oh, so on the markers, it reads COL, probably short for column, then C.87, or whatever number assigned to that particular column. The coaster looks like it'll be traveling along the Sky Coaster, jumping over the bridge, then making a turn around the carousel, pointing it back towards Kiddieland. According to the markers, it will then make its way around Aero 360, possibly even right through where the bus ride is, the kiddie ride that is located in Kiddieland, which that could probably get relocated to Thomastown. And then from there, it goes through the picnic area before heading over into the construction zone. So what type of coaster will this be? Well, I'm pretty confident with the layout that we see, it's not going to be a wooden coaster. I've mentioned in the past that I thought this coaster could very well be a Raptor track, the single rail coaster that we see by Rocky Mountain Construction. But looking at the construction site, my gut is telling me that this is probably out of the equation. There has also been some rumors swirling around that Rocky Mountain Construction is no longer in the bidding for this attraction. But again, those are simply rumors. To be honest, this layout is looking like a Mack multi-launch coaster or an Intamin Blitz style coaster. But again, I'm just not sure if the park is going to put another launching coaster, especially with the last coaster built with Skyrocket, a premier launching coaster. The space between Sky Coaster and the edge of the lagoon is actually really tight, so I'm assuming that B&M would be out of the picture as well. My final guess, which I think could be a possibility, is a modern Vekoma looping coaster. Something similar to the Lech coaster at Legendia in Poland or the Formula at Energylandia in Poland. Vekoma seems hungry, especially to build a new major coaster in the United States. So one final guess, one that I don't believe we should overlook, is a family-style inverted coaster. These coasters seem to be pretty popular right now and are being placed in many amusement parks around the country. Dollywood is even rumored to be opening one of these in 2019. Personally, I think this layout is just a tad too large for that type of coaster, but that's assuming the entire construction area is being used for this coaster. Okay, so one final thing to address. A couple years ago, there was a coaster layout for Kennywood that was leaked. It showed a roller coaster diving off the mountain behind where Racer and the current construction site is, and swooping down into the valley. Of course, this looked amazing, and I assumed that this is what this coaster would be doing as well, which would make this coaster even larger. However, currently, nothing seems to have been touched on the mountainside. None of the trees look like they've been touched or trimmed or cut down, which is concerning. Working with the intense terrain like that of the mountainside at Kennywood, it's going to take some time, and the fact that they haven't started there is making me think that this coaster will not be diving down the mountainside. Now that does sound a little disappointing. However, there is still time, and who knows, maybe this coaster is for 2020. But regardless of what I'm seeing, this coaster is looking to be something very exciting and definitely a new major coaster for 2019. So yes, even though it may not be diving down the mountainside, do not underestimate this roller coaster. I truly believe this will be something special for Kennywood. Okay, so what kind of coaster or attraction do you think is coming to Kennywood in 2019? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my other content. Thanks for watching. Bye.